Hey everybody, my name is Pete, and this is going to be kind of a look at the deck that I played in my latest Modern League. I haven't done a whole lot of recording so far. I've been having computer issues and trying to play on a Mac and then back to a PC, and finally I think I'm kind of at a place where I can start doing these a little bit more often. Anyways, I was a big Splinter Twin player in Modern, and Modern is the format that I primarily play now, although I started off competitively around the time Gatecrash came out with Standard, and fell in love with like the Junk Rights and American Control that were around at the time before they turned into Jeskai and Abzan, and it was Standard, but the reoccurring cost of Standard is what kind of drew me away from it and more toward Modern. Was something that I could hold on to and tweak a little bit here or there, but would have something solid I wouldn't have to keep investing in constantly. That was my thought. I've invested quite a bit in Modern, but Living End is one of the first paper decks that I created. The other one was Soul Sisters, which I never actually built online. And that was before Splinter Twin became my thing, paper and online. So with the killing of Twin, I had to kind of recreate where I wanted to be. And I had a hard time with all the Eldrazi until that... I had Ugin ended up being banned, so I've tried out all kinds of things. Death and Taxes, which I have fun playing. There's a Mardu deck that I'm trying to make work with the Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, which is just one of my favorite all-time creatures, and I know that there's got to be a way to make it successful. I'm going to work on it until I find it, but the versions that I've created haven't been doing so good so far. So I've ended up with a lot of 3 and 2 matches with my Falcon Wrath decks. I've tried a Grixis version, a red version. I've tried playing a Jund version, and let's see, is that it? On the Mardu. So I think the strongest that I've played so far has been Mardu for that deck. But on to Living End. Anyways, I'm circling back because it's a strong deck. It's not played by a lot of people. It kind of goes under the radar sometimes, and I know that there's a lot of graveyard hate, but believe me, there's not enough to warrant not playing it. It's good. I just went 5-0 in a friendly league tournament, and that's what I'm going to be showing you. My deck is a little different. I'm running the Bloodstained Mires. I wish that they were Verdant Catacombs, but I just haven't put out the money to get them here online. And then the Blackcleave Cliffs. I'm running 2 rather than 4. And 4 Copperline Gorge. It's kind of backwards of what most people play, but I haven't really been having a lot of issues. Specifically, running the Bloodstained Mire, I think, helps with that. I have a forest, 2s on mountains, 2s on swamps, and a Kessig Wolf Run, 1 of each of the Shocklands. And that's my mana base. I run 19 lands. Some people run Arbor Dryad, and I've really thought about putting it back in here, but without Verdant Catacombs, it's just... I thought about running Wooded Foothills, but I've got too much double black, and believe me, there's a lot of games where you're actually casting these things, and you're not just cycling everything away, so... yeah, that's why I've chosen the land that I used so far. 3 Living End, that's pretty common. The Faerie Macabre is not. A lot of people run these in sideboard. I just find that they're fantastic. You're able to pitch them as you're doing while Living End is on the stack, just to get another 2/2 flyer. And if they happen to have something that you were needing to take care of earlier with like a Beast Within or something like that, or you're running your Living End multiple times trying to win the game, Faerie Macabre is fantastic. Simian Spirit Guide, some people run 3. I run 2 because I'm running the 3 Faerie Macabre. And that's just really to ramp my Living End out faster. Sometimes I ramp my Fulminator Mage out faster. Sometimes I ramp a Beast Within, depending on what it is that I'm up against. It just has so many applications. Sometimes when I'm on the draw, I will actually take them out. And I kind of am back and forth on that. So it just depends on which game I'm playing. Architect of Will, some people don't play a full set of 4. I really like them, but they are the first ones I cut usually, depending on what people are playing in my sideboard. Street Wraiths, great. I love that card. Monstrous Carabid, those are my two most powerful creatures as far as what I win with. Deadshot Minotaur, and then let's scoot this over a little bit. And then I've got one Twisted Abomination, one Pale Recluse, and one Jungle Weaver. And people play with more of these a lot of the time, but I just find that I can get the job done with the smaller guys. These guys can be more difficult depending on what kind of land hand you keep. And sometimes I keep hands that have 1 or 2 lands, depending on what single cycling guys I have. And these guys end up in multiples just being tougher to reliably count on. So, I mean, they're nice when they come out. There's no doubt about that. And they definitely are Swords to Plowshare bait, or Swords to Plowshare, Path to Exile bait. I'm thinking Legacy. It's been a Legacy couple months. So anyways, Twisted Abomination and Pale Recluse, both. I run 2 of those rather than more Jungle Weaver, just because I like the ability to go get land when I do keep a land light hand. And I'm running 19 lands, so it helps. Let's look at the sideboard. Sideboard, I'm running 2 Shriekmaw for creatures that I need to get rid of. Usually when I use them and then I Living End, you're basically just getting him back to do the same thing to the same creature. Ricochet Trap, I run a full set of 4 because counterspells really can make Living End very difficult. A lot of times you can play around a Spell Pierce or a Dispel if you know that the deck commonly runs it, but for a lot of the Jeskai Control out there now, or some of the even more difficult blue-white with Not to Be Manned and Mana Leak and Logic Knot, it's just nice to have the ability to get your Living End to go off. Ingot Chewer, this is one that I'm really considering not playing a full play set of anymore. And you run against Affinity, and I almost feel like my Faerie Macabres are more helpful a lot of time than Ingot Chewer. And because people run Rest in Peace a lot in white decks, I feel like Krosan Grip is almost something that I would rather have for artifacts. And don't get me wrong, Ingot Chewer you can cast for 1 mana, but it's not instant. You got to do it on your turn, and there's just so many times when I'm playing against Affinity even where, your detriment is to take out the Inkmoth Nexus that they're going to be turning on their turn and killing you with that turn, and you just can't deal with it with Ingot Chewer. Gnaw to the Bone, the last game of my league here, that just worked fantastic. It is such a wonderful card, specifically with this flashback application. You could have 2 guys, 3 guys in your graveyard. That's all that you really need to get what you need out of this. Just 4 life when you're toward the end of the game and you're kind of like neck to neck against somebody. bump yourself up 4 life, and to know that you can follow it up with it again the next turn, it's wonderful. Brindle Boar too, there's a lot of decks that are very aggressive, and you just need to get something out fast sometimes, especially in games where you aren't going to necessarily be relying on winning with your living end. You want more of your little guys that you can hard cast, and so I didn't really run into any situations where I needed that, but I may have thrown it in on that last match too, I can't remember. Anyways, without further ado, let's get to some games. Okay, and here we are with game 1 of the league. So, Forest into Noble Hierarch, I'm immediately thinking it's some kind of a Kiki, some sort of Abzan value deck, or even a Naya value deck, or I'm thinking Infect. So here I've kept a hand that I've got plenty of land, 2 Beast Within, and sometimes I like starting a game, especially against a opponent that I don't know what they're playing, with a couple of those in my hand, even when it might be too many, just because you don't know what you're up against. It's nice to have that. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. I have a piece to get my living end, and I've got a couple cyclers that I can hit with the land I have. So it was totally a keepable hand. This one's a little bit tricky because you don't know right off the bat if somebody's going to have a creature for you to use it on, and you usually aren't the one throwing something down. I've even Beast Within to land of my own just to get that guy out before. And sometimes I'll do it to theirs just because that's going to die anyway. Actually, it makes more sense to do it to their land. So here I'm going to shock myself just so that I can get the Deadshot Minotaur off on there and stuff. And same thing with the Street Wraith, we'll cycle it too. Yeah, trying to speed it up a little bit here. He attacks me, so I've got 2 of these guys now and a brush land, and I'm really confused because I'm like, I don't know even what this is. At this point, I'm kind of blind, and a Birds of Paradise, so I'm really still thinking that, you know, I've got Selesnya colors. There I go, cycling my guys. I've got some more guys to cycle. I got a Fulminator Mage, but I'm not seeing that that's really going to be very effective this game, so I'm not thinking too highly about the Fulminator. We let him get in again. I'm not worried about that. We got plenty of life. Then I see an Eldrazi temple, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? This ends up being Bant Eldrazi, which is something that, you know, until I played this league, I really hadn't played against, so it's new to me. So I don't know what to expect. So here I go, Living End. And with him having the Noble Hierarchs out there, he could have had a counter spell for all I know, but I didn't know, so I decided to just go for it. And then I had Beast Within backup, which I guess wasn't probably a very good backup considering my life total, but so pass back over to him, and he passes back over to me. He's got 3 cards. I've got a full hand, which is nice. Most of it's land. But here's my guy. I can take out their temple, which is immediately what I do. And he dismembers. Which is fine. I get in for 6. Maybe he swords. Our paths. There we go. I go get a swamp. So I've got a lot of land out now, and I can pretty much start hard casting if I don't draw anymore. Living End Cascade cards. And the other nice thing is he's really low on land, so at this point I'm really not too worried about this game. Even though I'm at 11, he could kill my guy, and I still have time to piece within my own stuff and attack with 3/3s, or I don't know. Red mold. So there we go. Try to pump our guy, and here he's going to dismember him. That Kessig Wolf Run, it's a fantastic card. It's just so nice to be able to utilize all your mana into pretty much a win. And here, I thought about doing the Beast Within, and then I realized I just drew the Fairy, and I'm like, hey, 2/2 flyer, let's go to town. And here's a Displacer, but he's got no mana. And here, I can't remember if I used the Wolf Run or not, but oh, that's right. I get myself a beast. And there I didn't pay the 2 life. He scoops. I have Wolf Run, and he can trade here. I can pump her up. 4, no, 3, 5, yeah, 2, which makes her lethal the next turn. So there's the end of game 1 against Bant Eldrazi. Okay, here I am at game 2 against Bant Eldrazi. He's going to go first. Here I've got another hand with totally acceptable land. I don't have a piece to get Living End, but I've got a kill spell. I saw that he was playing the Displacer. I imagine he has Thought-Knot Seer. So, and even the Mana Dorks, especially with the kind of mana base he's running, would be great to take out with that. Monstrous Carabid. There's my 1 cycler, and this guy to clean up graveyard stuff if I have to use Shriekmaw. So, and we're just going to hope that this cycles into something that we can use. There's another Beast Within. That wasn't probably what I really wanted right there. We can cycle our Carabid. And now we have what we need. And now we just have to hope that he doesn't grab a temple and Thought-Knot Seer, and he doesn't. And there we go with the Eldrazi temple gone. Which I'm lucky he didn't have another one into a Thought-Knot Seer. I imagine he would have cast it though had he had it. Here's the Rest in Peace, and this is what I mean. People get Rest in Peace, and it's not really the end of the world sometimes. But then you get a negate, and yeah, it kind of is the end of the world. However, did you see what happened? He negated my Violent Outburst, and the Cascade effect is still on the stack, which means Living End's going to go off anyways. And I get my guys and he scoops. That is a mistake that so many people make, and it's just pretty much a game over. You win when they do it. Not all the time, but I think it makes people really upset. And I know I get angry sometimes with myself, but we all make mistakes, and I've probably done that against somebody that was playing Living End as well. It's one of my blue decks. So, yeah. Anyways, that was Bant Eldrazi. We go on to game 2. Okay, here we are with game 2. So here we've got Island, I've got Bloodstained Mire. I've got 2 Demonics, and I've got my Fulminator Mage. This wasn't a hand that I really like. I don't like not having anything to cycle into the graveyard, especially when I've got the Demonic Dreads. But I kept it because my land was okay, and I had a Beast Within. So, and again, not knowing what I'm playing against, you know, and even having the Fulminator Mage, it could be Tron, another Eldrazi deck, so just went with it. Ancestral Visions. It's already looking like probably a American Control or a Geist deck. And Jeskai Geist is one of my favorite decks to play, and I have to give a lot of credit to Great Nate out there. I love watching his shows that he puts on YouTube. Alright, so I guess things are getting a little ahead here. So our Fulminator Mage was mana leaked. We've got several guys that we have gotten into the graveyard now. Cycle Deadshot Minotaur and a Architects of Will, which I really, having these guys in for blue decks like this one are really nice when they can rearrange the top of their deck. And so here I'm running into the problem, or I was, that I didn't have anything at all to attach Demonic Dread with. It wasn't at a point where I felt like using this, kind of saving it for Nahiri because I just don't like her. And although I've never played this deck until now against this, I just was really wanting to take her out. And there she is. And I find out later that she's not quite as threatening against me as she is against a lot of other decks. So if you play Living End, there's other things that are probably more problematic than her. And if you think that's funny, you can Faerie Macabre grab Emrakul on his way out. You can frickin' Living End Emrakul away. It's pretty funny. And so here we're just trying to get in, and he's put up a pretty good defense so far. And why I didn't sack him and take out a land is beyond me. And I have made quite a few mistakes. But we're going to just keep trying to get in, keep putting the pressure on, and we got the Twisted Abomination, and he's about to refill his... Well, he scoops. So, there is American Control down game 1. Let's go on to game 2. Okay, here we are in game 2 against Nary Control. I've got the land I want. I've got the Violent Outburst. We still got to try to play it around the counter spells. And I guess a bad thing about recording these things from the MTGO playbacks is that you don't get to show how you sideboarded. No, I'm just thinking about that. I'm positive that I put all the Ricochet Traps in against this, and I think that was all. Probably taking out my Architects, or maybe the my Simian Spirit Guides. Okay, and so we've got plenty of cyclers here. We've got the land we need. We've got... We have a Living End in our hand. You don't really want to have that in your hand, but, you know, that's a risky play when you play a kind of deck like this, and be thankful that we only have one in our hand. That's why Remand is so terrible against us. So here we go with Relic. And at this point, I've already got a few guys in the yard, and I might as well go for it and get him to use a counterspell now. Which happens, and that's what happens. So now he's got a Relic out, and we're going to have a hard time being able to get it out, except that he's tapped out and he can't crack it, which means that he can only get one of our guys. So that really worked out well in our favor. And here's the Timely Reinforcement, gave him some life back. So we have a lot of work to do here, especially considering he has Path to Exiles, he has Lightning Bolts. So I get in there with the Fulminator Mage, try to attack that mana base a little bit, keep him out of range of potential Restoration Angel, Cryptic Command. Here we can start hard casting some stuff. And there's a, and that's fine. I take her out, buys him a little bit of time. I can hard cast. He's got 2 cards in his hand, which that's another thing that you find out when you play this deck is all the cycling. I feel like your hand is full all the time, which is so nice. And we get a scoop. And on game 3. And here we are with game 3. Look at this hand. I've got the land. I've got the Dread. I've got Fulminator Mage. I've got the Violent Outburst. I've got a Street Wraith. I'm ready to go. This is a good hand as you're going to get. So, well, there's better hands, but he goes first. I'm going to step Heath into an Arbor Elf. Okay. Foothills into Witching Satyr. Immediately I'm thinking Genesis Wave or Tooth and Nail. And he's attacking me with an Arbor Elf, and I'm taking it, and I'm cycling. I got a Street Wraith and an Architect in. You do need to be a little careful with the Street Wraiths. The 2 damage they do really does add up when you're shocking yourself early game, and you definitely got to be careful when you're playing against bolt type decks, Delver, Burn. Actually, just about any deck. You watch your life total get low. So here we go. And now I think we want to make sure that we've got enough things in our yard that we're going to be able to... see, I wanted to get him out. I'm worried about Utopia Sprawls and Overgrowths and things like that right now, where maybe I didn't need to be. And he scoops. And here we are, match 3, game 2. He scooped as soon as we got the end off, and here's another just fantastic. Well, I would have liked maybe another cycler instead of maybe the Beast Within, especially with what I know we're playing, or what I suspect we're playing, because I actually think it ended up being something else. So there's a shrine, a fertile ground, no, so I'm still suspecting it's Living End or Genesis Wave or something like that. Maybe some kind of primeval titan thing here. I still think we have a great hand, though. And here I can go off early, but we decide to get rid of that on their upkeep, you see, so that it has summoning sickness and it's not going to affect us because we're going to go off next turn. And I'm not going to have a lot, and I was lucky to draw him because I didn't have a lot in the yard. I had like one guy, but so I actually wait till his turn to do it. Oh, that's what I did. Yeah, I took all his land away. That was worth getting hit for 3. That was me taking advantage of somebody not having mana. So, and here's a shrine, so you can have fun with colorless mana for a little bit. Yeah, this was great. And it just buys us time to where, I mean, we could have even taken this hit and probably been fine, but we're at the point where we can get some guys out and just end the game. Okay, on to game 4. Okay, so here we are with game 4, and this is, well, match 4, game 1. So far, we are 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, which is fantastic, but my luck begins to change a little bit. I've got an Aether Vial and an Eldrazi Temple out, and I'm kind of, I don't play Death and Taxes that utilizes Eldrazi, so I'm not super familiar with that yet, but it's more of this Eldrazi mess. Or Repercussion, I'm sure, you know, and those people who really liked the Eldrazi and who really got into playing those decks, I'm glad that they've found some shells that they can still utilize. I mean, they're very good cards. Okay, here we go. And here, I had one cycler. I had a couple ways to get end out. And when you have the land right, sometimes you just have to go with it, even if you would have preferred having more cyclers or whatever. We drew the Architects, which is good, and we'll just pass. And we'll fetch at their end step. And, actually, I think I forget to fetch. I don't know if I didn't. And shock and cycle. Okay, and cycle. I was hoping to get a Spirit Guide with that one, but that was not my luck. That was not to be had. I got the Jungle Weaver, so I got a big guy. And I actually still don't even know whether I have, or if I'm playing against Death and Taxes until I saw the Tidehall Scholar, and I'm like, yep, that's what we're doing. And we're just going to have to play with some basics. And there's the guide. And you see him at 10 life already. So here we're able to get our Violent Outburst. And we're able to get an extra guy in the yard with our guy. And here we can put everything back. And I put Thalia on top, which is kind of funny because well, actually, it probably didn't make a lot of sense, but I had thought about Beast Withinning that Aether Vial as well, which might have been the right play. Oh, I keep clicking. I wonder if there's a well, that is not it. I wonder if there's a F button that. Nope. Just don't have anything to do with. Alright, well, I apologize for all the clicking. I'm still going to take some time to get the recording down to do more quality recordings for everybody. But hey, you got to start somewhere. So there's the 4/4. And I decide, and this is a fantastic thing that I think a lot of people with Living End don't do or don't realize that they can do, and then a lot of people aren't expecting it either, is, you know, your Demonic Dread's great. You can be like, hey, you're not going to block that guy who got in my way all of a sudden. And the same thing with Violent Outburst, you know, just giving everybody a +1/+0 till the end of turn can win the game. So here we go, denying our Thought Knot of being able to block. So he can trade and then take 6, which takes him to 3, which I'm okay with that. He's got the Shambling Vent, and I was thinking, well, great, that guy could maybe make it a little bit more difficult for me to and here's another Demonic Dread, which is perfect. So once again, we're going to say, no, you're not going to block, and he can't block them both. So there's the end of game 1. We'll go on to game 2, match 4. So here I kept a 2-lander, so I don't have enough with what I have to cast any of my Violent Outbursts or Demonic Dreads. But I've got 2 Cyclers. I've got a guy that with this can get me a land, so I'm not too worried about it. I also like that I got the Krosan Grip. I know the Death and Taxes got a lot of hate, and this instant split-second card is fantastic to get rid of artifacts and enchantments that really mess with you. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I'm thinking it's going to be, hey, another 2-0. But I didn't play the best game. I made some pretty nasty mistakes, so there's all the land that I needed just from the scrying with them guys. I've got a Demonic Dread. I don't have anything to hit with that at this point. And if he can get a Thought Knot Seer out as his first guy, that's exactly what he can take, is my 1 piece to get a Living End out. Or a Tide Hollow Scholar. And here I was feeling all comfortable that as soon as he casts one guy, it's going to be game over. Well, that's what I thought. So, let's add somebody else to the yard, go get some more land. And you see his Aether Vial's building up. He's got the 4 mana now. And I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking, hey, do I need to hard cast a Living End? Do I need to or suspend cast? Or should I stop cycling and start then I was like, oh, I can kill that, right? Because it's an artifact, and I can get my Demonic Dread back. Well, look what happens then. You still don't have anything to attach it to. So then I gotta spend a turn casting a guy. It's not an instant, so if he was to like cast a Thought-Knot Seer, he could totally take it, and I couldn't cast it in response. So, which there's the rest in peace, and there's nothing that I could do about it. But this whole game could have been different if I had made different decisions and done things at different points. I was just feeling so comfortable with the cards I had in my hand that I was kind of ignoring some of this stuff. So you have 5 on the Aether Vial. And here we go. Let's start beating down with our 3/4. And we're going to start casting our little dudes. And there's the Blood Baron. And there I scooped it. And he's got protection from black and white and lifelink. That was the thing. Like, how do I combat that? So, yeah, I guess I could have drawn another Beast Within at some point. But I was at 9 life already. And I don't know, I just kind of gave up. Sometimes we do that. Okay, so here we are with game 3, match 4. This one was a crazy one. I believe I mulliganed down, and I kept a hand with 1 land, and my scry was a land. So I was like, right off the bat, let's just toss him in the yard, get the land. And we've got this guy that we're going to be able to get another land with if we don't draw one. So I did an Aether Vial out, which I'm not too concerned with at this point, just because I've got the couple guys in the yard that I think maybe I can race them. And here's an Arbiter. And so we've got to do a couple search things right now before he comes into play. This, I really don't want to use a Beast Within on him. And here the thing is, I kind of want to get at least him into the yard too, but at the same time I don't want to be greedy like I was last time. So I'm thinking, do I just go for it now? And yes, that's what I did. And here, I think I'm able to pitch the Faerie. No, I didn't. So I've got her in case I need to do it again. And I don't remember if he has a path. Oh, not yet, anyways. Hardcaster. There's another lion. And here is a Thought-Knot Seer. And he'll take the Beast. And you see I have 2 Living Ends in my hand, and I already cast it. So, you know, we're done with Living End right now, unless we hard cast one. Or suspend cast. And I believe I actually do. Just because. And here, I think I could have rearranged that to take him out and leave this guy in. Why I didn't do that, I mean, I was full of mistakes this game. And so now it's like, I've got a 4/4 that has to attack every turn, but he can't deal with my flyer at this point, as far as I know. Here we hard cast, and I know that he can't. No, there, he doesn't even kill my guy. But he can't block my flyer, and now he's had 2 life, and if he doesn't have an answer for the fairy, that's what happens. So I think maybe I lucked out too. He might have been able to gain a couple life with the Shambling Vent. I don't know. I've been paying attention. I think people do that with lands sometimes. They kind of forget that they have them. Or it's just not an opportune time to use the 3 mana it takes just to turn him on, and not including himself. Okay, on to game 5. Alright, here we are with game 5. Yes, I will play first. And I will mulligan. He's going to decide to mulligan, or whether he wants to. I take this hand, that's a 1-lander, because I can get this as a cycle. And I've got this guy to go with the land. So all I need is 1 more to get to do this Violent Outburst. So I'm thinking maybe we can try game 1. So here we go. And it's Boggles. And I don't know what this game is going to even look like. The nice thing is, you exile all your guys, so the Umbras don't help them in that situation, nor do any other kind of protections. So I don't have to worry about the ability to kill their guys. I can't target them with Beast Within, but I can hit the enchantments. So here it's basically a race right off the bat. It's like, how many little things can he throw on him in the first couple turns and beat down, and how fast can I assemble what I need? Luckily I drew a land. Oh no, I drew the land. So now I'm set up to do it, but as you see, I've got 1 guy and a couple other guys that I have to spend turns casting in order to get him into my yard. Well, I can get her into the yard, but... So, he's got 5 cards in his hand, which is a lot. Goes down to 4, but he could have another guy. He could have 2 more guys, and his guys cost 1 to cast. And the trample, one thing I like to do with Fulminator Mage is to get a block out of him before I sack him. It doesn't really work with the trample. You just take all that damage if you do that. So at some point, I think right now I've decided that because I didn't draw another land, I need to go ahead and do this Violent Outburst now, because he's a 9/7. He'll leave me at 3 life. That's just not going to work. So we need to not take 9 damage. We need to cast that and get our 1 guy, but I think I do pitch the fairy this time. Yeah. Which is fine. The thing about fairies is that you may exile up to 2 target cards. You don't have to. It would have been nice to have gotten that Rancor though. So here I have, he's able to search his library. I've never seen this before. Search your library for an aura or equipment, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your library. And he revealed a Daybreak Coronet, which is a life gain. Amongst a bunch of other crap like Vigilance and First Strike, and I don't know. It's just nasty. And I know he has the Rancor in his hand, so... And there's the Daybreak Coronet. And here it's like, do I have what it takes to beat that? See, he has to attack. He's got First Strike. I'm in trouble, basically. And I drew another land. And so I think we try, though. This one wasn't just a give up. You know, I'll also get in with my flyers. Know he's going to die and gain him a bunch of life. And it's honestly that life link that just sealed the deal here for him. Or doomed me. So. And he's got trample. Yeah, it's first strike. Oh, here we go. We were okay. We're still trying. This was a pretty fun game, actually. And you know, there may have even been a way for me to win this game that I didn't see. Of course, he has to attack. And I'm thinking he's got trample, so I've got this guy. I gotta get in still. I gotta bring that life down, and that's why I attacked with both of these guys here. We get 2 damage now. And again, I can't block with him because he's got the trample and the first strike. Double block. And what did he do? Oh, he passed my guy, that's right. And then I end up going down a bunch anyways. M2. There's the beast within, so we keep on fighting. And there I scoop it. Now 1 life. There's nothing I can do. Alright, well here we are back for game 2, match 5. We lost the first game, which is a little disconcerting. 3-2 is the best I've ever done in one of these leagues, and so I was really, really excited after I hit 4-0 to maybe make it through the whole thing. And here I'm taking a one-lander again. And so I've got so much cycling here that I'm really just thinking, how can I not draw into what I need land-wise. And there we go. Right off the bat, I'm looking a lot better than I was. But I'm taking a lot of damage with these Street Wraiths and Shocklands. And you'd think, why did I take Shocklands? And when you don't know what you're gonna... Playing the cycle game is such a thing in the dark, honestly. You don't know what you're gonna get, so... you can't count on getting the right color manas, and that's why you need to get the dual colors so badly. And there is the piece that I was hunting for after I got the Copperline Gorge. And he's off to a land problem for himself, which, you know, with as many cycles as I have, I think this is... I'm feeling pretty awesome about this right now. And here I can even take out the Umbra, take a little less damage, and I actually didn't think I don't think I even had to take out the Umbra. That was probably a mistake on my part. And we're going to go ahead and do it right here. It's a beautiful thing. There I missed his boggle on accident with my Macabre. But I got the Rancor. And this is it. And he scoops. And on to the last game. So this hand I kept, 2 lands, 1 cycler. It made me really nervous. I had the Gnaw to the Bone, which you'll see in a while is I'm so thankful for having. I had the Grip again, worried again about Rest in Peace or something like that, so which, I mean, he's playing white, you could have it. And there's also this other one that they've been using that's an instant cast where like midnight, I don't know, but it's one where it exiles things coming back from the graveyard instead of bringing them into play. So Twisted Abomination was actually kind of a nice thing to get, especially having the black here. And his 3 toughness isn't the greatest, but it's a lot better than what I get out of Fulminator Mage or a Guide or Yeah, now we're getting to the point where it's like, do I do these with 12 life? Street Wraiths, and I'm gonna take 5. Down 7. He's at 20. Here I'm able to go and cycle him, so that I have something a little bigger out on the board. And I did that down to 5 because I needed a little bit more in my yard. My yard just didn't have enough. So, there I am at 5. I'm going to go off here. And one of the bad things right off the bat is I think he had a path. Dryad Arbor, Umbra, and the thing I'm also looking at here though is he has 1 card left in hand, and that's giving me some hope. So I've got a First Strike Trampler that I can actually stop with, well, nobody at this point. But I have the Grip. And we can do another Living End if we need to. Although I don't have a Fairy, and I think we might actually even do that. So there we got some damage in. And he got that guy back, and I got these guys. He's got the Rancor back. You can see his hand built back up again. And now he's got that Daybreak Cornet, which I have to take out. Otherwise he's going to be gaining that much life, and there's no coming back from that. So as is, I'm okay with blocking here and regenerating. And no, I wasn't about to shock myself, but then that happened. And then that happened. And I'm at 2 life. I'm in trouble. But let's get in. So you can see it's 6-2 at this point. And I'm feeling comfortable now because I've got, well, I think I have 2 guys in here. Yeah. Street Wraith, Deadshot Minotaur. And I can't cycle him, but I can cycle that. Carabid, which I do to get 6 life back. And that buffers. And now I'm at 8, and I take 3. And I can do it again next turn, which is the really significant part. He just dropped a land, has 1 card in hand. No, I'm not going to pay the life. I'm going to attack you again. Take him down to 2. And then it goes to his turn. He drops a land and kills himself because I would have went up another... I could have actually shocked myself for 2 to get another card to maybe cycle to gain even more life, but we didn't even have to go there. So there it was, 5-0, my first one ever. I'm feeling pretty stoked about that, and I hope that everybody enjoyed this. I'm going to really work on structuring and maybe doing these more live rather than the way that I'm doing it right now. Any advice or suggestions, please let me know. Yeah, have a good night.